Second.
Okay. With the motion to amend the ordinance for... We did. Oh, all in favor? Yeah, we just did. Aye. Aye. Okay. I'd like to amend the resolution, amend the agenda to bring Chief Stettner up first to speak to the council, and then I would like to hear resolutions 2018-136, 136A, 138, and then ordinance 2018-16 first before the resolution. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Fulker?
Yes. Chief, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President, Councilman, and Women. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here for two reasons tonight. The first is the condition of the building. All of you are fully aware of what we're dealing with up there. Many of you have taken tours, seen it. It's really about the well-being of our officers. They need to get out. There's a lot of angst that goes in it when everybody above you, everybody below you, and everybody beside you runs through the door and you're still in there. I know that's part of our job, but that's where we're left. Really, we weren't concerned because our conversations with each of you, with the administration, everything seemed fine. You guys were happy. January exit date, we could live with that. We were willing to make the sacrifice to get out of there at that time. However, it seems that's changed a little bit. I'm here at the mercy of you guys, men, women, to try and accomplish something. We need to get out. We don't have a choice. I was through the whole process before a few of you were here. We looked at tons of buildings. There's not an answer. That's not going to cost the taxpayers a lot of money. Trailers aren't cheap. It's not functionable for us. We've talked at length. I think we had an executive session in November where we talked about the pitfalls of things. We showed you guys the building, I think it was March or April, I'm not sure what meeting we met. Listen, I believe it's a feasible option to move forward. I think that there's no reason we can't go to the Armory with the time and money we put into the plans, designing it, the tours we've taken of other police precincts to try and accomplish this. I think to do right by our guys, the guys that I represent here, we need to move forward in some fashion. Second point I'd like to discuss, make sure there's no questions on. There is a resolution tonight. The school board approved for us to hire 3 special officers. I need you guys, 3 class 3 officers.
That's 136A?
136.
If there's any questions, I'd like to answer them at this time. I don't want it to be held up because it would impact us not having them on the first day of school. We're already going to be on a time crunch to try and accomplish that, but I'd hate to hinder it in any way. It's not a cost to us. It really isn't. Well, it is because the school board is our taxes too, but they've worked it into their security plan where they're giving us the money.
It's keeping our kids safe.
Absolutely.
Council Vice President, you have a question?
That's one in each school?
There will be, yes.
One in each school. It's not just one person circulating,
No,
correct?
no,
Okay.
it'd be the agreement, which I'm sure you guys glanced over. I know you had a lot on this agenda. It would be one at the primary, early childhood, and the elementary school.
That's what I want. Okay. That's it.
Councilman Lutz?
No, I have no questions.
No?
Nope.
Councilman Davis?
No questions for the chief.
Councilman Beck?
School resource officers or current officers deemed school resource officers, being special officers or?
No, we'd be hiring retired police officers.
Right, so there's more specials.
It's class 3s, yes.
Class 3.
The newly designated class 3s.
All right, yes, I just want to make clarification for the folks in the audience.
No
They
problem.
may think maybe taking 3 existing officers and putting the
No.
SRO title on and putting them in the schools.
We're not, it's actually, we're going to have a great benefit because we're no longer running from school to school having to answer calls. That would be their primary responsibility at school and the safety at school. They'll be the ones who design those plans instead of us having people leave other schools and also taking guys off the road to do that stuff.
No.
It's the brainchild of the district. The school board's the one who brought that forward.
No, I'm a very, very big fan of class 3, so I'm fine.
Chief, I don't have any questions for you. I appreciate your time. That was quick.
I told you it would be.
Thank you. We can move forward with Resolution 2018-136, a resolution authorizing the town of Phillipsburg to execute a shared service agreement between the Phillipsburg School District and the town of Phillipsburg for the provision of school resource officers. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Vicki?
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Polk.
Yes. Motion passes. Resolution 2018-136. Moving forward, Resolution 2018-136A, a resolution providing for the insertion of a special item of revenue in the budget of any county or municipality pursuant to NJS 40A4-87, interlocal agreement with the Board of Education for a school resource officer.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Polk.
Yes. Resolution 2018-136A passes. Resolution 2018-138, which is a resolution authorizing the execution of a collective negotiations agreement in between the town of Phillipsburg and Phillipsburg PBA local number 56 for the patrolman.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Polk.
Yes. The last item was a table item, so I need a motion to untable ordinance number 2018-16, the bond ordinance repealing and replacing bond ordinance number 2017-03, finally adopting April 18, 2017, and providing a public safety building for the House, the Police, the Fire, and Emergency Management Departments by and in the town of Phillipsburg and the County of Warren, State of New Jersey, appropriating $3,211,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,050,450 bonds or notes of the town to finance part of the cost thereof. Motion to untable.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Polk.
Yes. Motion 2008, ordinance 2018-16 has been successfully untabled. Can I get a motion?
I move the ordinance.
Motion to move.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Roll.
Okay.
Wait, this is discussion.
Before we move forward, if we could stand, are you still here? Understand, Stan Schreck, I apologize. It's on somewhere. I think one of the things that I had requested, just to elucidate everyone, if you could just briefly elaborate on the complications that we've had and in seeking a home with the unique architectural details that the department requires and giving your endorsement of the plan as opposed to the renovation of the existing building based on our presentation that we had in executive session. Does that make sense? I don't know if that was clear.
He wants to know why you think the Armory move is better than renovating Corliss. Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Executive session back in May, I believe I presented 3 alternatives. One was moving the building, moving the police into the Armory. The other was moving to the Armory, redoing Corliss without a police station, redoing Corliss with a police station. The advantage of moving them now is time. And that's what the direction was way back in November of how we were going to proceed to develop the Armory plans to full completion, which they are, and to advance preliminary designs for Corliss and for a separate municipal building. Every one of those has attributes. Of what we have now in front of us, we have the completed Armory plans where we're very close to being able to bid. We could do Corliss, but Corliss would take more time. The police, through the efforts that we made and working with the chief, Captain Travis, and the secretary, and Captain Swick, we came up with a competent plan of what the requirements are in 2018, along with what court requirements are in 2018. And what we have would not be able to go back into Corliss the way it is. So Corliss would have to expand. Are there options to expand? There are. It would take up area on the ground. We'd have to do more on the ground because there's requirements for the court. For instance, a judge has to be able to get out the back door right away, and some other issues too. And I developed those in the plans that I showed you in executive session. There are deed restrictions on the property up by Corliss. I guess it could be addressed. I don't know. I don't know what the time is. So now the advantage with the armory is it's ready to go. We could get this project quickly, and the police would have a place to move. If we go back to looking at Corliss, we'd have to find some options for the police to redevelop that. So advantages or disadvantages, I can't say. I can only say what the time frame is and the cost analysis. I think I gave detailed drawings for what every option is going to be, but it's up to the council to make the decision.
Thank you, Stan. And I apologize for putting a spot. I just wanted to share with the audience before we committed to this very large expenditure, just how much requirement gathering we did and how much detail analysis about what we actually needed to do with each of these buildings before we...
We did. I gave that again in that executive session where we talked. The item that's missing, and I think we talked about this, is what if we did not go back to Corliss, what the deposition would be for that building, what would ultimately happen to it. Pat talks about a possible recreation center, if it could be sold. If it's sold, do we have to do the environmental mitigation that's there? And or it can be sold the way it is. I didn't do that analysis. It's not my expertise. You'd have to bring in some realtors to have that discussion. I do want to make it clear, though, there was article in the newspaper, but it was indicated, I've seen it, that the renovation cost for Corliss is $1.7 million. That's a very small part of what has to be done there. That was $1.7 million a little while ago, too. And that's abatement for the mold and the asbestos that's in the building. And that doesn't get us to what that is, all the demolition that's required, the work that has to go in. That building essentially has to be completely gutted and start over again. It's been neglected for over 50 years, and that's what we're with. So the 1.7 is a very small cost.
Thank you, Stan.
Councilman Russ, do you have any questions?
No.
Council Vice President.
Questions now, just general discussion. I did ask for a lot of assessment information, so I will share that. The Corliss track, because there was some information I didn't quite agree with, so I needed the backup. The Heckman complex is 6.2 acres and it's valued at under $5 million. The Corliss tract is 2.67 acres and is valued at $8.1 million. That includes the library, which we agreed to spend almost $500,000 on improvements. The value of the property is significant at Corliss. The deteriorated, and I don't know about anybody else, but I spent probably an hour or better walking through the building. It's horrible. I'm going to be frank, they should have been moved 2 years ago. I don't know why it took so long. They should have been moved 2 years ago. I was horrified to be in the building
And
myself.
might involve in this, or we cannot?
Not yet, no.
All right.
I honestly think they should have been, I apologize it took so long. However, that being said, when we had budgetary discussions, the first thing I asked was why there was no money allocated to the police move, because there was nothing put in the budget for it. Nothing. Approving this ordinance is going to put a huge impact on what the tax base is going to be next year, because it wasn't planned for this year the way the first ordinance was. And we asked that question when we planned. So had this been incorporated into the budgetary process when we planned earlier this year, we would have had a much better picture of what the tax implication would be, but that wasn't done. And I'm not sure why. We asked on more than one occasion why that wasn't being addressed. And we never got an answer. The other thing I want to bring up is, again, it's been discussed repeatedly why we haven't addressed the HVAC fiasco that caused this disaster. The contractor, I assume, was properly bonded when they did this work. We've all been told, if you've been in meetings for the last 2 years, the responsibility came because of the HVAC system, which caused the asbestos and the mold and everything else. It's apparent. If you've been in the building, you can see it. It stands right. All the walls have to come down, the floors have to come down. That's my feedback on it. I don't know how we get them moved fast. It has to be done. It has to be done. I'm just not sure why it wasn't budgeted when we knew we had to do this, when we asked about it, so.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilman Davis, do you have anything further?
No, I'm good, Council President, thank you.
Well, Councilman McVeigh?
No questions, but discussion, I do?
Yes.
Just a couple of thank yous on this. I think our first executive session when we were Councilman-elect was Councilman Davis, who actually raised the question, do a comprehensive overview of, to extend this a little bit longer, but to take a good look at the estimates. So I commend him for doing that because it allowed us to make an easier decision. I have a decision in my head. I always have. I also want to, I can't say enough about Stan Schreck and the work he's put forth and the passion that he has for the project in an objective manner. That's a very talented thing to do, sir, and I commend you on that. I'd like to thank Chief Stettner and Hay, who have showed up this evening in the support, which I did table this last meeting because I think this is what the public wanted to see and this is what the public wanted to hear. We're just 5 people up here, but it's great to hear that the department heads come out and represent in addition to the men and women who are in support of both of you this evening here. I will say this, I am very upset that this information got out publicly on social media. It put it in jeopardy, and I just had discussions with our counselor to make sure that whatever I vote is clear legally. That's most important to me. And most of you know where I live on the corner. It's a busy corner. When I get dressed, I pull the curtain down. I don't lift it up. So I'm not happy that this information got out and put possibly any decision in jeopardy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. To echo your sentiment, I feel the same way with regard to the revealing of the proprietary numbers that the engineer had prepared for us in executive session. I'll be quite honest with you. I was fully prepared to shelve this project because of that. Tonight, before we move forward, I would ask, before council chooses to vote, look at all of them, all of the men and women in the back of the room, because they all have families. They all have kids, and they all have wives, and they all are working right now in hazardous conditions. What the mayor did by releasing the numbers ahead of time, sure, it was improper, but I don't think that we should punish them for that. I don't think we can keep them there much longer. So I would ask that you support this ordinance and vote yes. Now I know that it's unorthodox for me because we just opened up an ordinance without taking public comment.
It's first reading.
It's first reading, so we can Okay. Roll call vote. Vicki?
Councilman Lutz.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo.
No.
Councilman McVeigh.
Yes.
Council President Fulper.
Yes. Ordinance number 2018-16, the first reading has been successfully passed. We can now move forward. I would ask, we only have one reading. It looks like we have a lot of people here. Bill's list, Vicki?
Current fund, $246,245.55. State federal grants, $5,138.05. Capital fund, $69,380.89. Sewage utility fund, $191,825.63. Section 8, $496.45.
Folks, if we can keep it down, please.
Regular bill list total is $513,086.57. No Section 8 rent payments. The prepaid bill list, current fund $591,054.63. State federal grants $36,600. Agency fund $1,674.58. Revolving loan fund $8,925. For a prepaid bill list of $638,254.21. Grand total of all funds, $1,151,340.78.
Move to accept the bill list?
That's the bill list.
Second.
Discussion? Councilman?
No.
Council Vice President?
The Sartini bill for $13,000, was that an emergency? I don't remember a resolution on it. It's $13,000.
I was not told.
Was that for the Irwin Street sewer break?
Yes, it was.
It was the emergency.
It was.
Yes, it was.
We did it by resolution.
I spoke with DPW, and I know is Stan Schreck still in the room?
We didn't do a resolution, remember?
No, I know that, but it did happen over a weekend. I remember when it happened.
Actually, it was the Wall Street one.
No.
It wasn't Washington.
It was Tuesday night.
Washington.
Oh, it was Washington? Yeah.
I had Irwin.
Okay. And,
That was,
yeah, it was 908. The reference number was 908 that I have written down. But we think that was an emergency?
I would hold it until we can get further clarification.
And 967 for Robert Johnson for Agway and Morris. I thought we heard that Kevin Duddy took care of Agway.
That's what was on social media.
And I don't know what happened on Morris Street that we had to pay somebody for. Does anybody? I don't know who this.
We don't even own the property.
Right. You may know.
I think we should hold it.
I believe we should hold that as well until we get further clarification from the mayor's office, but I do remember reading that he stated Kevin Duddy had taken care of it.
Okay, that was it. So if we could hold this too.
Absolutely.
967 and 908.
What are the check numbers?
Check 73443 is the 908. That is 73448.
Councilman Davis?
No further questions.
Councilman McVeigh?
Good, sir.
I myself have none, therefore, motion to approve bill list as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGrova?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Polk?
Yes. Okay, the bills list has successfully been passed. We can now move forward to public comment on agenda items. This is where you have the opportunity to speak on any item on the agenda. Before we move forward, number one, I would like to ask everybody to just go ahead and keep it down. I'd also like to ask for an amendment for this particular session for the public comment on agenda items, if we can limit it to 2 minutes per speaker at a 20-minute time limit? 30-minute time limit? There's a lot of people. It's quarter after 9. All right, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Okay. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Where the motion is to limit speakers to 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
Thank you.
Great.
Yes.
Third.
Council Vice President DeGrova?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Polk?
Yes. Name and address for the record.
Joe Minor, 392 South Main Street. On ordinance 2018-15, were these items in the budget?
Yes.
Thank you. Already passed, but they're already passed. I don't care. 2018-136. $150,000. Was this in the budget?
No, Joe, this was not in the budget.
Why
However,
not? The police, the 3 police, it seems obvious you need them.
Right.
Insertion of revenue.
We had no idea that they needed them until just recently.
In the school.
Right. It was a discussion between the school district and the police department.
Okay.
I would have budgeted for them, Joe. I would have budgeted for them. Just didn't know that it was going to happen.
Yeah, okay.
But would you agree that our kids need to be safe in school?
Oh, that has nothing to do with it.
I appreciate
You knew that at the beginning. And then you went ahead.
Thank you, Joe.
And did something corrupting the budget.
Joe, was
Joe,
that what
thank you.
schools paying for?
The school's not paying for it.
Yes,
The school is paying for it?
Joe, we'll talk later.
Thank you.
Mr. Regler.
Reggie Regret, 390 Heckman Street, Phillipsburg. Regarding ordinance 2018-16, which you guys just voted on, you did the responsible thing. That was the responsible thing, the decision that you made. Now, let's look at ordinance 2018-10A. The responsible thing for you to do tonight is to table this motion. The residents of this town, this is a very serious decision to allow this change to the redevelopment of this area of Phillipsburg, which is just as important as the Ingersoll Rand development, which many people probably never thought would happen. That took a long, long time, and now we're seeing some progress. We're gonna
Mr.
get some-
Regler, you have to address us.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna look over here.
Well, I appreciate that. You address
Okay,
us.
the one eye here and one eye there. So,
If you could do that, it'd be amazing.
I can't.
You're right.
So the Ingersoll Rand obviously is a great success in Phillipsburg, that this is finally coming to fruition. I just don't see that business, we don't want Phillipsburg to be called garbage town of New Jersey. Now, I said at the last meeting, I make garbage. I have a good friend who just hired LMR to haul away junk. So that's not the issue, it's just where's the best place for a facility like this? And we want to, at some point, as Phillipsburg gets more, as Easton overflows, or the efforts that we're making at redeveloping the riverfront, that we have to look at that whole area of South Main Street. That includes the LMR side. And we already have enough trucks with Shamoon. We don't need more trucks. This is not the place for it. It's a proper business, it's a respectable business, but in the area that we're trying to develop is not the appropriate place. And the responsible thing for council to do is to not vote on this. The residents of this town deserve a complete analysis. This issue's only been, I think, since February that the planning board was looking at this and thought it was a bad idea. I think the residents of this town deserve from the council the pros and the cons. What are the benefits of having this business, of these additional garbage trucks in Phillipsburg, and what are the negatives? And that I don't think the residents of this town have received yet. So I'm part of an ad hoc committee. We did collect some petition signatures, and I'll read very briefly what the petition said. Phillipsburg Town Council is proposing to modify the Phillipsburg redevelopment plan to allow for waste hauling companies to establish operations on South Main Street. This would be contrary to the past and current plans that we are striving for in Phillipsburg to become a riverfront destination. So the people said, we the undersigned oppose this, the LMR facility on South Main Street. So I'm going to give them 2 years, 177 adults, 176 adults, 37 of these adults, all residents of the town, lived in the Andover Kent Towers. So again, just to repeat myself, I think the responsible thing, you did the responsible thing on the Armory decision just a few moments ago, and now I think the responsible thing, because we can't make that same mistake like we made with the asbestos and the mold in that building. It wasn't your mistake, it wasn't my mistake, but we have to see the future of Phillipsburg, which is the riverfront, and this just does not fit in. So I would ask for an analysis that we table the vote, and that the residents deserve a complete analysis process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Raybrock.
Bill Timmons, 230 South Main Street. I also want to speak on 2018-10A. I think it'd be good for this town. It's going to be a revenue producer in their taxes. Is nowhere affecting anybody. You can't see it from South Main Street. They're good people to work with. He's got 5 trucks going in and out of that location a day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. But that's nothing compared to the trucks that go in and out of the foundry and park back on Howard Street and create hassles back there. The same with UPS. Pizza delivery trucks, the small merchants in town that are running around. If you're trying to restrict people from driving through town, it's ridiculous. As far as trying to get the 2018-17, I guess that's the vote to give them total green light to